Welcome everyone today. We're diving deep into a potential game changer in the fight against obesity, a candidate that could redefine how we treat one of the biggest health challenges of our time. Imagine the power of the most effective weight loss injections, but packed into a simple, once-a-day pill. That's the promise of 𝗧𝗥𝗚𝗣𝗧𝗏. Ascletis Pharma has just announced 𝗧𝗥𝗚𝗣𝗧𝗏, an oral triple agonist candidate for obesity. Now, that's a mouthful, so let's break it down. It's a peptide that targets three key hormone receptors, GLP-1, GIP, and GCGR. This triple agonist approach is considered the next frontier in metabolic medicine. But what makes 𝗧𝗥𝗚𝗣𝗧𝗏 truly special is its delivery system. Based on preclinical data in primates, this drug achieves stunningly high oral bioavailability. To put this in perspective, compared to the well-known oral semaglutide, 𝗧𝗥𝗚𝗣𝗧𝗏 showed roughly 10 times higher bioavailability. It also demonstrated several-fold better exposure than oral versions of tirzepatide, and dozens of times higher exposure than oral retatrutide analogs. On top of that, it showed greater potency in activating all three target receptors and has a half-life of about 56 hours. This suggests that a once-daily or maybe even less frequent oral dose is entirely feasible. So what's the big deal? The value proposition is simple but powerful. 𝗧𝗥𝗚𝗣𝗧𝗏 offers the potential for injectable level triple agonist potency in a pill. If this holds up in human trials, it could completely change the game for accessibility, adherence, and the global impact of next-generation obesity treatments. To understand why this is so significant, we need to look at the market. Obesity affects hundreds of millions of adults worldwide, and the numbers are still climbing. While lifestyle changes are important, they often aren't enough on a large scale. Injectable therapies have been a massive breakthrough, but they come with their own set of challenges: the burden of injections, cost, supply chain issues, and the difficulty of sticking with a shot for years. The market for anti-obesity drugs is projected to explode, growing from under $20 billion to over $100 billion within the next decade. The demand is massive. 𝗧𝗥𝗚𝗣𝗧𝗏 aims to capture a unique slice of this market. It's for patients who are hesitant to start injections, for people in emerging markets where a pill is far easier to distribute and use, and for those on long-term maintenance who experience injection fatigue. It also targets those who need the powerful effects of a triple agonist, going beyond what single hormone therapies can offer. The total addressable market isn't just a niche, it's a global population measured in the hundreds of millions. Now let's talk competition. The obesity treatment landscape is evolving at lightning speed. The current leaders are injectable GLP-1 and GLP-1, GIP agonists, which have delivered incredible results. But they're still injections. The next wave is injectable triple agonists like retatrutide, which promise even better metabolic benefits. So where does 𝗧𝗥𝗚𝗣𝗧𝗏 fit in? Its differentiation is crystal clear. Compared to the leading injectables, it offers the convenience of a pill. This addresses major hurdles like needle phobia, stigma, and long-term adherence. Compared to other triple agonists that are also injectable, 𝗧𝗥𝗚𝗣𝗧𝗏 removes the needle from the equation entirely, making it more scalable and acceptable for lifelong treatment. And when you compare it to other oral options, whether they are small molecules or peptides, 𝗧𝗥𝗚𝗣𝗧𝗏 brings the superior potency of targeting three hormones, which could lead to much stronger weight loss outcomes. If it proves safe and effective in humans, 𝗧𝗥𝗚𝗣𝗧𝗏 could create its own category as the first-in-class oral triple agonist. So what's the path to market? It's a long and carefully planned journey. First, Ascletis will file for an investigational new drug application, or IND, to start human trials. Phase 1 will focus on safety, tolerability, and confirming that the drug is absorbed orally in humans as expected. Phase 2 will explore different doses to find the sweet spot for weight loss, appetite control, and other metabolic benefits. Then comes Phase 3, large-scale trials in patients with obesity, likely including subgroups with other metabolic conditions. If all goes well, the company will file for approval in major markets like the US, China, and Europe. the pricing strategy will likely position it as a premium oral option, justifying its cost by highlighting the convenience and potential for better real-world results. This leads to the health economic argument. An effective pill means less burden on healthcare systems for administration. It could lead to higher patient adherence, which in turn means better and more sustained weight loss. Over time, this could reduce obesity-related complications like heart disease and diabetes, ultimately lowering overall healthcare costs. For payers, an oral drug with strong efficacy is a very attractive proposition, especially for long-term weight management. Looking ahead, if ASC37 is successful, the real-world evidence could be compelling. We would expect to see higher adherence because taking a pill is easier than an injection, leading to more durable weight loss. Patients would likely report a better quality of life without the hassle and stigma of needles. This improved persistence could translate into measurable health benefits, like more quality-adjusted life years gained per patient. All of these factors would build a strong case for broad insurance coverage and adoption. Of course, with great potential comes great risk. This is still a preclinical asset, and there are major hurdles to clear. The biggest question is whether the incredible bioavailability seen in primates will translate to humans. That's never a guarantee. Triple agonism, especially the glucagon receptor activation, could also bring unique side effects, particularly gastrointestinal issues. The competitive landscape is also a threat. Other companies are racing to develop next-generation injectables and oral small molecules. There's also the complexity of manufacturing an advanced oral peptide at scale, and finally, regulators and payers will place any new class of drug under intense scrutiny. Being a pioneer is exciting, but it also means you're forging a path through uncharted territory. So how does this all translate to valuation for Ascletis Pharma? It's all about probability and potential. In an optimistic scenario, AS37 performs beautifully in human trials and launches around 2030. It captures a mid-single-digit share of that $100 billion market. We're talking about potential annual revenues in the several billion-dollar range. For Ascletis, this would be transformative, catapulting it into the big leagues of biotech. In a more moderate base case, the drug gets approved but faces slower adoption or tougher competition, capturing a low single-digit market share. This could still mean revenues in the $1 to few billion-dollar range, providing a significant boost to the company's value. Then there's the conservative scenario, where the drug runs into problems. Maybe the human data is disappointing, or safety issues emerge, or it gets beaten to market by a competitor. In this case, the commercial opportunity would be limited, and the impact on the company's valuation would be minimal. Given its early stage, any financial model would apply a high discount rate, meaning only the truly blockbuster scenarios create significant present-day value. The journey ahead is marked by key catalysts, or value inflection points. The first is the acceptance of the end. Then all eyes will be on the first-in-human data for safety and pharmacokinetics. A positive result, there would be a massive de-risking event. After that, we'll look for proof of concept weight loss signals in Phase 2, the initiation of Phase 3 trials, and any potential partnership or licensing deals. Each of these milestones will have a major impact on how the market values this asset. One interesting strategic option for Ascletis could involve contingent value rights, or CVRs. If they decide to partner with a larger pharmaceutical company, they could structure a deal where the partner pays more as the drug successfully hits development and sales milestones. This is a smart way to share risk and reward when you're dealing with a high-potential but uncertain asset. In conclusion, ASC37 is a high-risk, high-reward bet on the future of obesity treatment. Its preclinical profile is outstanding, with high oral bioavailability, potent triple receptor activation, and a long half-life. It represents a clear and differentiated value proposition, the possibility of injectable-grade efficacy in a simple pill. The global market is enormous and hungry for better solutions. If the clinical data can validate this preclinical promise, ASC37 has the potential to become a profoundly disruptive force in medicine. But the road is long and the risks are real. This will be a fascinating story to watch unfold over the coming years. Thanks for tuning in. If you found this analysis helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more deep dives into the future of healthcare. See you next time.